He worked hard, not just sometimes every day. Early mornings, late nights, skipped vacations, weekends sacrificed. He did what America told him would lead to stability. He got the education. He took the job. He stayed loyal. And yet one unexpected expense was enough to shake everything. This is why in modern America, hard work is no longer enough. For generations, Americans believed in a simple equation. Effort equals security. If you showed up, followed the rules, and kept pushing forward, you would eventually be safe. Not rich, but protected. Able to handle emergencies and plan for the future. That belief wasn't foolish. For a long time, it was true. But today, that equation is quietly broken. And most people don't realize when or how it happened. What most people don't realize is that the definition of working hard hasn't changed. Productivity is higher than ever. Workers are more educated, more efficient, and more connected. Yet financial stability feels further away than it used to, not because people stopped trying, but because the system around them changed. The rules shifted quietly underneath those who kept playing by them, and effort alone stopped being enough. Let's start with income. On paper, wages have gone up. But adjusted for inflation, many Americans earn roughly what they did decades ago. Meanwhile, the cost of living hasn't just increased, it has exploded. Housing, healthcare, insurance, education, and childcare are not luxuries. They are necessities. And they now consume a much larger share of income than they once did. So even when people earn more, they feel poorer. A paycheck today arrives already spent. Rent or a mortgage takes the largest portion. Health insurance premiums take another. Utilities, food, transportation, and debt payments take the rest. What's left, if anything, is expected to cover savings, emergencies, and the future. For millions of Americans, there is no margin. Without margin, one small problem becomes a major crisis. Hard work doesn't protect you from that. Healthcare is one of the clearest examples. While most Americans who work hard have health insurance. That's supposed to mean security. But modern insurance is designed around cost sharing, not protection. High deductibles, copays, surprise bills, and out-of-pocket maximums exceed most people's savings. Even insured families can face thousands of dollars in expenses from a single event. You can do everything right and still lose financially. All it takes is getting sick. Housing tells a similar story. Good job used to make homeownership realistic. Today it barely makes renting survivable. Housing costs have risen faster than wages for years. Down payments are larger, mortgage terms are longer. Rents climb relentlessly. Property taxes, maintenance, and insurance rise quietly in the background. Housing doesn't pause when income dips. It doesn't care how hard you work. It demands payment every month, without exception. And when housing consumes too much income, everything else becomes fragile. Stability disappears quietly. Then there's death of invisible support system of the modern American economy. Credit cards, auto loans, student loans, and by dash now, dash pay, dash later plans are everywhere. These aren't signs of laziness. They're survival tools. They bridge the gap between income and reality. They allow hardworking people to function in a system that demands more than it pays. At first, debt feels manageable. It smooths cash flow and absorbs shocks. But debt compounds. Interest grows. Payments steal future income. Flexibility disappears. And slowly, hard work turns into financial captivity. People stay in jobs they hate because they can't afford to leave. They avoid risks because one missed paycheck could unravel everything. They delay health care, family plans, and personal growth. Not because they're irresponsible, but because the margin is gone. This is the quiet truth. Hard work now sustains the system more than it protects the worker. Effort keeps things running. But it no longer guarantees security. Another major shift most people don't see is risk transfer. In the past, institutions absorbed more risk. Employers provided pensions. Healthcare was simpler and education was affordable. Housing was stable. Today, that risk has been pushed onto individuals. Retirement is self-managed. Healthcare costs are shared. Education is debt-funded. Housing volatility is normalized. When risk moves to individuals, effort alone can't control outcomes. And when people fail under this weight, they blame themselves. They assume they mismanaged something. They feel shame. But this isn't a personal failure. It's a structural one. Millions of hardworking Americans are experiencing the same pressure at the same time. That isn't coincidence. It's design. And it thrives on silence. There's also a psychological cost to this system. Living without margin creates constant stress. Not panic, but vigilance. Every bill is watched. Every expense is questioned. Every email from a bank or insurer triggers anxiety. People don't feel poor, but they don't feel safe either. When stress becomes normal, people stop recognizing it as a warning sign. This constant pressure erodes motivation, health, and hope. It makes people risk-averse, turns survival into success. And yet, the cultural narrative hasn't caught up. We still tell people to work harder, hustle more, budget better, save aggressively. These strategies help. But they can't fix structural imbalance. You can't out-hustle healthcare inflation. You can't frugality your way out of housing shortages. You can't personal discipline your way past systemic risk. Hard work used to be a shield. Now it's often just a requirement to stay afloat. It's why so many Americans feel exhausted but not secure, employed but anxious, productive but exposed. The system still rewards effort, but it no longer guarantees protection. That realization is spreading quietly, family by family, paycheck by paycheck. And it's changing how people see the future. The most dangerous part is silence. When people believe their struggle is individual, nothing changes. But when they see the pattern, everything does. Understanding that hard work isn't enough doesn't mean giving up. It means seeing clearly. It means asking better questions. It means recognizing that financial security today requires more than effort. It requires awareness. Because the truth is simple and uncomfortable. Americans aren't failing hard work. Hard work is failing Americans. And until that changes, millions will keep doing everything right while still feeling one step away from collapse.